I watched How I Caught My Killer, and here is what I thought. I had saw some trailers about this, and it seemed interesting. The show is a true crime series, and the premise is around how each victim helped catch their killer. That alone, when I saw the trailer, kind of hooked me because I was interested to see how these people were caught and how did the victim kind of help catch their killer beyond their grave. So that is kind of the basic general info about this show. I'm about to go into some more details about the show, so spoilers will be after this point. If you don't want to know, you can leave and then come back. If you don't care, let's continue. But as I said, if you want to check this out before I reveal any more spoilers, this show is currently on Hulu, so you can go check that out if that premise of figuring out how they caught their killer beyond the grave interests you. Each episode focuses on a different person, and as we go through what happens, each one has evidence from the victim that helped them find who the killer was. Also, each episode is narrated by a different person. I believe they tried to find people or someone that was similar to the victims or who they thought the victims might have sounded like. And I think they gave a nice touch to the series. I was a little nervous after watching the first episode because I didn't love that narrator so much. Not sure why, but I just didn't vibe with it. It wasn't for me. So after realizing that each episode there was a different narrator, I began to like it a bit more, and it began to grow on me. So I'm not a huge watcher of true crimes. This one particularly interested me, but I'm not sure if they do this in all the true crimes, but in this show in particular, they do interview the family members and the friends of the victim. They also interview some people that worked on the cases as well. As I mentioned before, the focus around the show was how the victim helped catch their killer. I wasn't really sure what that exactly meant until I saw more of the episodes. One case, a teen girl was found, and they didn't really have a good suspect. They had some leads, but none of them happened to pan out, and it was kind of leading them nowhere. The mother of the victim found her diary, and there's an entry that led the investigators to a new suspect. Once they looked into it a bit further, it turned out this person was her killer. They ultimately found the killer because of the diary the victim had. If she never wrote that entry, they probably might not have found him. The diary was one that stood out, but a lot of the killers were found by phone or social media apps because of the evidence on the victim's phone or messages that they sent or were sent to them. They were able to find the person that hurt. Another episode or a different case, there was one where a husband had a text message about his wife trying to poison him. So they were going through the victim's phone, and a little bit later, this text message had popped up. And if it wasn't for that message, I don't think they would have even looked into the wife. They didn't really suspect her all that much. But a little bit later, they came into possession of this text message, and then they began to look at her a little bit closer. So it is interesting to see how mostly it was by phone and different things on the victim's phone that helped them catch it, but how things that the victims owned or were in their possession helped detectives and people investigate and lead them to how they ultimately ended up in the situation and who caused them to be there. But the last case, oh my goodness, that was crazy. This dude was basically a serial killer. He killed multiple women, and there happened to be a survivor. And in this particular episode, she had tried to tell police what happened, but they didn't really listen to her or believe her. And if they had believed her and listened to her statement, they could have saved someone else's life. I was just so shocked that it took them so long to arrest this guy. The survivor was very, very lucky that she got away. And it was sad. They weren't necessarily looking into her case. They were looking to someone who's more recent, and then it led them down the path of her case. But if they had listened to her, he could have been arrested, and they could have saved some lives. So yeah, that last episode was very, very sad. Just seeing that something could have happened, and this person who they were looking into could have been saved, but no one believed her when she made the statement. It just sounded crazy to them that she got away, and I guess they didn't really believe her story. So yeah, the last episode was definitely the one that was the most shocking to me on how everything went down. So most of the episodes were like that, where evidence or things from the victim would lead them to suspects. It was like breadcrumbs to find who did this to them. So yeah, like I said before, a lot of the things were apps. I think text messages. One that was different was the diary. Another one was like a tracker, like a fitness tracker. They kind of found what happened or what the girl was doing when she had this tracker on her phone. So a lot of things. It's amazing what technology can do nowadays. So thank goodness that they were able to find these people that hurt the victims. But most of the show is like that. Most of it is like, okay, something on their phone or something from social media that they were constantly on helped them lead to who hurt them. If you don't like over dramatized true crime, I think this would be something to check out. I think it was done well and they talked about the victim and the kind of life they could have lived. I will rate the show on how it was done. I would give it a 3.5. I think they did really well telling the stories of each of these victims. And I think everyone deserves to have their story told. All these people were taken way too soon. Fortunately, in these cases, they were able to find the people who did these things. But I'm not going to give a rating on the actual cases. I'm just giving a rating on overall how the show was put together. I'm not rating the content of the show. I'm just rating how they did the show. And for that, I would give it a 3.5. And again, I don't watch a whole lot of true crime, so I don't really have a whole lot to compare it to. But some I have seen in the past were very over dramatized and suspenseful and things like that. So that's all I have to base it on. But for this, for how they did, I think they did it very well. And since I don't watch a whole lot of true crime, it did take a toll on me hearing the things that happened to these people. If you are into it more than me, I would suggest this one. I did have to take a break after watching a couple. A lot of them, just watching it back to back, I couldn't do all of it. So, I watched a few, then took a break, then watched a few more. It's not a whole lot of episodes, so you can definitely probably watch it in a weekend. If you were interested in this show, it is on Hulu. It is one season with 9 episodes. So it is short. You can watch it in the weekend if you wanted, and definitely check it out. If you have any other suggestions for true crimes that are similar to this one that other people might like, definitely leave it in the comments below. I don't really watch a whole lot, so I don't have anything really to recommend. But if you know of anything that's similar to this show, if you've seen it or it sounds similar to this show from this video, definitely leave in the comments below for other people to have suggestions. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. It was more of a serious one, but I hope you did enjoy it. If you want any more TV content, feel free to check out my website. I will be linking my social media below as well if you want to check that out as well. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.